What's up everyone? Alex here. So we're graced with a brand new Nintendo Direct today, packed with a few surprises, as well as updates to many JRPGs and games we've been looking forward to playing. Keep in mind that I'm only focusing on 13 of the announced games that I feel are relevant to both our community and to my personal interests. So I've organized this video based on a couple of games that are coming out today, followed by more relevant JRPG releases, then venturing further away from that genre into others. I've also included other platforms that these games are coming out on as well, so you don't have to look them up. Let me know in the comments below which games caught your eye. So I mentioned SaGa Frontier 2 in my great PlayStation 1 Square JRPGs video that I released a while back, and with the announcement of SaGa Frontier 2 Remastered, which is available literally right now, I can't believe that you'll be able to play this amazing game with every single enhancement that makes it just way better. So I just literally got the press release for the game, and it basically says that obviously it's gonna have like really sharp graphics. I mean, look at it, like it's already looking great. Imagine that on a 4K screen. It's gonna look really cool. It's also gonna have a revamped UI, enhanced gameplay systems, new post-game content, and a ton more. The new gameplay features will add elements like parameter inheritance, post-game content, and New Game Plus. There's also like a new excavation minigame that was originally created for the Pocket Station that is going to be finally available and playable in the West for the first time. And there's also going to be new story elements too, which should make things a lot more interesting. The revamped UI contains history choice, chronology, a revamped screen layout, and a multitude of other gameplay systems that have been reconstructed to make it more intuitive and more comfortable. Because if you played the original, you know that it was anything but comfortable. I won't be getting a copy of this game until the end of the week, but this game is out right now for not just the Switch, but also PlayStation platforms and PC. As much as I am a fan of music games, I really sucked at Crypto the Necrodancer. So when I found out about Crypto the Necrodancer thanks to today's Nintendo Direct, and realizing it had been out on PC for a while, and seeing its Guitar Hero-esque gameplay, I just got really interested. I mean, I'm a sucker for music games and stuff. And by the way, it's out today on Switch and PC. And seeing this Soulless DLC is just the icing in the cake. I really like Soulless, and of course, I love music games. And while I really sucked at Crypto the Necrodancer, I really loved the music that it had. But of course, as with the backlog, I don't know if I'll have the time to actually play it, but this is certainly going on my wish list as one of the games that I'm interested in playing this year. Moving along for the games that are releasing sometime within the next 2 years or so, including 2026, this one is coming out this year for sure. That's Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake, which is actually also coming out on PS5, Series X and S, and PC. Now, of course, we all know that this is part of the massive Erdrick trilogy, the first of which we saw through technically the first part of this trilogy in Dragon Quest III HD 2D, and I really enjoyed that game. And apparently you did too, because Square Enix said that it sold gangbusters. And with this presentation on the Nintendo Direct, we finally get to see Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake, which by the way, in case it wasn't clear yet, this is packed in together. This is not two separate games, it is coming together. So you literally only have to buy one more game to complete the entire Erdrick trilogy, which is absolutely amazing. And it looks great. I mean, what else can I say? Like, HD 2D just looks amazing and what it does to classic games. And definitely this is one of those games that I'm really looking forward to playing this year. This next one is a total surprise. Like, I was literally staring at this a few months ago in my library, and I can't believe this is happening. There is a remaster of Devil Summoner Raidou vs. the Soulless Army in the form of Raidou Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army, which is coming out June 19th of this year for PlayStation platforms, Switch, Series X and S, and PC. Now, I'm a hardcore Raidou / Devil Summoner fan, so when I saw the trailer, I noticed something that nobody else did, which is the original game had fixed camera angles like old school Resident Evil PS1 stuff. So the fact that like all of a sudden this game has 3D environments that you're exploring, I mean, why call it a remaster? It feels like a remake, especially since I saw that the battle system is overhauled as well. And if you can hear the excitement in my voice, that's because I cannot believe this is happening. I love the Raidou games, and I've always thought that these games should be released for the modern audience to experience. And I can't believe that it's finally happening in June. To me, I think this is one of the biggest surprises of everything that was announced today. I wish I could get into Super Robot Wars, but despite my personal challenges getting into that series, I want to let you know, for fans of that series, that Super Robot Wars Y was actually announced in the Japanese Nintendo Direct, slated to come out this year on PS5, Switch, and PC. If you never heard of the series, this is basically an amalgam of so many different robot mecha from Japan that basically are just in one game. It's pretty amazing. I wish I had the patience to get to the point where one of my favorite robot characters is, playable and stuff, because I'm kind of impatient like that. And this is also a tactical RPG, by the way. Again, if you've never played it, but if you're a hardcore fan and love these sorts of things, I think you're gonna love this game. We have a new trailer for Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, which is coming out on May 21st, 2025 on the Switch. And we're veering away from JRPGs into kind of cozy game territory, life sim kind of things. And I've been told by many people that Fantasy Life was one of their favorite life sim games, and I believe them. I think the time traveling hook is very interesting that helps separate Fantasy Life I from all the other games that I'm about to mention. So I'm really curious how this game is going to use that mechanic to its greatest extent, because I can see this being an incredible game with a lot of discovery and a lot of exploration. And, I just love those kinds of things. Witchbrook is coming out in winter 2025 on Switch, quote-unquote Xbox. I don't know if that's Xbox One or Series X and S. It's so vague. And PC. Now, I first saw Witchbrook a long time ago when it was being developed alongside the release of Stardew Valley. Now, that sounds really confusing, but basically when Stardew Valley came out, Witchbrook was being developed because the developers of Witchbrook actually helped publish Stardew Valley when it first came out, which is really cool. This, of course, helped fund Witchbrook, and the reason why I'm also so excited about this, apart from the fact that it's taken this long to actually see an actual release date for it, is it's basically Harry Potter without, I'm not going to mention that, but it's this really wholesome kind of magical school vibe that I've always wanted to play in a game. I mean, granted, we do have Hogwarts Legacy and it does its own thing. It's more like an action-adventure game. But this one, as a life sim, seems very interesting. What kind of tasks are going to be asked to do? Learning magic and all that stuff. How does that all play out in a life sim game? Because most life sim games are well, if you want this piece of furniture, you craft it or something. Is it going to be like that too? It's if you want this piece of furniture, you need to learn how to work with wood materials and stuff like that using magic. I don't really know, but that's kind of what makes me curious about this. Is what is your magic going to be used for? Are you going to be able to attack things? Do you go to dungeons? That sort of thing. And I'm really happy to see that it's finally getting a 2025 release, because it's been a damn long time. So Tomodachi Life Living the Dream was Nintendo's final announcement, and that's coming out next year in 2026. And I'm not familiar with the series, but I did do a little bit of research, and I find that it's basically Animal Crossing, but funnier and wackier. And I mean, as proof, while I was doing research on this game, I saw that the previous game had a Christina Aguilera DLC that makes her available in your game. So what are we going to get for this one? Are we going to get Sabrina Carpenter or something like that? Who knows? Maybe that's a bit too raunchy for this game, but the possibilities are endless. And I kind of want to see a funny and wacky kind of life sim game out there, because there's been a lot that it's just here's a farm, build it up, make money, survive, that sort of thing. And I feel Tomodachi Life is a really good kind of take on the same genre, but with a little bit more laughs and good vibes. I'll definitely keep an eye out for this game. And by the way, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is coming out only on the Switch. Speaking of farming, Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar was announced for August 27th, 2025. This is a re-release of an old DS game, not new DS, not 3DS, regular old DS, which is coming out on Switch and PC. I don't really have much to say about Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar apart from what I just said, especially since I've yet to play a Story of Seasons game, but I thought to mention it because I know that some of you are really into this series. So yes, it's also coming out on PC in addition to the Switch. Veering into visual novel territory, we have No Sleep for Kaname Date from the Somnium Files, which is coming out on July 25th this year. And guess what? Iris is kidnapped again. This is really crazy. It seems like one of the newest features of this game is that it's going to have escape room mechanics, a la 999, 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. I can't believe I remember that subtitle. And what's also interesting about this is that Uchikoshi is not directing this game, but he will serve as a quote-unquote series director, which probably means he's just gonna take a look at the project to make sure that it's like, keeping with the series. In fact, the actual writer for this game is also going to be directing it, and I'm kind of curious to see like what he can do to the series and see like if there's any kind of freshness or new vitality that brings to the table, because Uchikoshi seems to be like in a lot of projects these days. No Sleep for Kaname Date is coming out on the Nintendo Switch and PC. Alright, we're moving away from visual novels and into other genres. And this next one, I'm really super excited because the animations looked so cool. And that is Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which is slated to come out on holiday 2025 for PlayStation platforms, Switch, quote-unquote Xbox, and PC. I really don't know what that means. This game is being developed by the Shredder's Revenge people, and if you play that game, it's bound to be an incredible game. In addition to playing with Marvel characters, it seems like the hook is that you can switch between 2 different characters per person, and it is still a 4-player game, which means it's going to be so much fun to play with friends, especially co-op. And the fact that you have 2 characters to play with seems to be just really awesome, especially given that the roster is upwards of about it's like more than 10 characters or something like that. But I think what sold me on this game is the fact that if you look at the animations very carefully, and if you're a fan of Capcom's Marvel fighting games, you notice that a lot of the idle animations and punches and kicks seem to be inspired by those games. I don't know if there's like a copyright thing that prevents anybody from being inspired by other people's work, especially since Marvel owns the franchise, but that's just something that I noticed, and I literally in my head, like while watching footage of Wolverine fighting in the game, I was like thinking to myself, Berserker Barrage, and I was like, oh wow, that totally matches that. Either way, I want to hear more about this game, and the fact that it's coming out holiday 2025 is so far. I literally want to play the game like right now. Speaking of games that probably won't be out for a while, maybe June or July, when the alleged Switch 2 will be out, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond got a new trailer. And is it me, or this game just looks way too good to be running on the regular Switch? I'd like to be surprised. I'd like to think that this is the Switch version and somehow they've done magic to optimize this game to run on that platform. But I'm with the other people who think that this is running on Switch 2 and Nintendo is just being very cheeky about it. Either way, it looks fantastic, the psychic powers look very promising, and it's a new Metroid Prime, and it's been a long time since we played a new Metroid Prime. About dang time. So again, this is coming out 2025 sometime, and it's only on the Switch. The last game I want to talk about, and I'm pretty sure none of you are going to be sticking around through this video because of just this one game, is Gradius Origins, which is coming out on August 7th for all modern platforms. Now, this is a very special series for me. I remember playing Nemesis on the MSX, and then jumping ahead to like Gradius on the NES, and then followed by Life Force, followed by Gradius 2 for the Famicom, followed by Gradius 5 on the Super Nintendo. You get the picture. I love Gradius. And it's been such a long time since I played this game that seeing this like really brought me back to that era. I think one of the biggest reasons why I love Gradius above all other shmups is the fact that you get options. These options basically do whatever you're doing, and you can kind of position them wherever you want. This is kind of similar to Ninja Gaiden 2, where you got like your shadow Ryus and stuff, and you can position them however you want. And I just thought that that was just a really cool thing that allowed you to be more strategic with your positioning and stuff, allowing yourself to be placed in areas where you're not supposed to a lot of the time. Either way, super excited about this game, and I hope some of you are as well. And these, my dear friends, are just some of the games featured in the latest Direct. with some of them coming out to other platforms near you. If any of the games you're interested in haven't been mentioned here, post them in the comments and tell us why other people should check it out. Also, if you're into JRPGs, indies, and niche titles, many of which have been mentioned here, hit like, post a comment, and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all of these genres. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.